The A's just tied the Cincinnati Reds 14-14 in 9 innings of spring training baseball. Lots of takeaways from this one, including Lawrence Butler being a machine, Cristian Pache putting together a nice day, and then later on today's episode, we're going to put together the A's bullpen with Kirby Snead potentially needing to miss the start of the season. So that's what we got coming up for you guys today on Locked On A's. How's it going, A's fans, and welcome to episode 537 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's show, we are talking about this slobber knocker of a game, 14-14 in 9 innings, and it went just over 3 hours. Thanks, Pitch Clock. Also, lots of big takeaways from this one. Adrian Martinez might have looked good. There was no visuals on this game, but he might have looked good. We're going to go over what he did today. Lawrence Butler, Cristian Pache, all that stuff. We're going to talk about all of that here in just a second. But before we get into anything, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so now. Just do it, please. Also, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. And make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I am it by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way. Whenever A's news happens, it's at Inside the A's. Or if you want to type it into the URL, si.com/MLB/athletics. But let's get into the 14-14 tie real quick, because why not? It just happened. It just finished up. And we're going to talk about some spring training baseball that we only got to hear. We didn't get to see, because not a lot of games are actually available to us visually, because baseball's weird like that. They need to fix that. But 14-14 tie. The A's gave up a 10-run bottom of the 8th inning. They were ahead 10-4 entering the bottom of the 8th inning, left that thing down 14-10, came back and tied it in the 9th. Great, exciting game to read the scroll to as I took my son to the park. But some fans were a little bit, upset that the A's walked 10 guys. And it's 1, spring training, and 2, 8 of the 10 walks that were issued were not issued by guys that are going to be on this roster in 2023. They were guys that had spent most of the year in Lansing, or Luis Medina, who is he walks guys. It's a thing that he does. He made his spring debut. He went 1 inning, gave up 1 run. I think it was a walk and then a double. So it happens. And he also struck out 1. So Luis Medina, we'll see what happens with him, but he's going to be a work in progress all season long, and we want to see that walk rate go down. That is going to be the big key, hopefully, for Luis Medina finding that next level, because he could be a special arm for the A's if he unlocks that. Right now, he's got 1 walk in 1 inning, so that's not a great rate, but it's, again, 1 inning, very small sample size. Adrian Martinez was the only other guy that, Chad Smith walked 1. He made an appearance, scoreless inning. And then Adrian Martinez, he worked 2 innings, he walked 1. And so those are the 2 guys. Chad Smith and Adrian Martinez were the only 2 guys that are going to be on this roster in 2023. They even kind of have a shot at being on the roster in 2023 that actually walked guys. So 8 of the 10 didn't matter. It was guys getting work and getting a chance to show off in front of the A's coaches. That's what it was. And it's fine. They're gonna be fine. They get to go play in Midland or Lansing or Vegas this coming season. They have things to work on. That's why they're in there right now. That's all. I just wanted to say, some walks. If they lose the game, oh no, it's spring training. It's fine. We're having fun. But the big takeaways from this game, I'm starting off with the starter in this one, Adrian Martinez. He went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 1. Nondescript line, really, and without the visuals and without any StatCast data at all. I'm going by what was written or what was typed out in the game log, and it seemed like he had a good outing, honestly. In the first inning, he gave up a single, and then I believe that guy stole a base. No, it doesn't matter. Single, pop-up, wild pitch, pop-up, ground out. So not bad contact, I don't think. I don't know how hard that single was, but pop-up, and ground out, not bad. Wild pitch, a little concerned about, but not like overly concerned, just a little bit concerned. We'll see how that goes. And then second inning, ground out, strikeout. Love it. And I think that's not bad at all. That's how we accumulated those outs. You get 3 groundouts, a strikeout, and 2 pop-ups. It's not good contact unless they were like really drilling it into the ground. But even so, the A's have a good infield defense, and it's still into the ground. That's a good launch angle if you're giving up those kinds of. He was either getting him up, getting him down. He was not getting squared up in this game. That's a positive sign for Adrian Martinez moving forward. I cannot wait to watch him pitch in the World Baseball Classic for Team Mexico. And I think that this is his last appearance for the A's until he goes and pitches for Team Mexico. So watch their games. I think they're in the same bracket as Team USA. So if you're watching Team USA, cheer for Adrian Martinez and Team Mexico too, because the A's have nobody on Team USA. They got a lot of other guys on other teams though. So lots of other baseball to be watching, and it's all going to be so much fun. But other takeaways, Lawrence Butler. I mean, anytime he gets into the game, I sent out a tweet, Lawrence Butler in the game, and the A's scored a run. And people were very excited to have a Lawrence Butler update because he is just electric. He's so much fun to watch right now. Obviously, he's a little bit like Buddy Reed, where you're like, hey, we might not see him this year, but oh man, are we having fun? And it's a very small sample size. And I think that he's probably better than Buddy Reed. But it's that same kind of thing. Was that 2020, 2021? It was one of those seasons. Captured the hearts and minds of A's fans in spring training. And then hopefully we see him later. But Lawrence Butler, I mean, it's been a very small sample size. He's 5 for 6 this spring. He's hitting .833 with an .875 on base percentage. He's just been fantastic. And he's only really played in Lansing so far, and a little bit in the Arizona Fall League. But with this, if he keeps this up for the next couple of weeks, he could be on a fast track. He could, start off in Midland, be there for a month, a couple of months, and then get the call up to Las Vegas. We might see him in September if he's just having an on-fire breakout season. We'll see. That is probably the ceiling right now, that he gets to Oakland by September. That would be the best case scenario. But he could be pushing. If he's having a good season in 2023 and he gets to both those spots, he could be pushing for an opening day spot next year. And I think that all of us are going to be hoping that happens, because he is so much fun to watch. If you haven't yet, tune into a Lawrence Butler game. It's a good time. In this game, he went 2 for 2 with 3 RBI, a walk, a triple, and a single. And he stole a base, and he scored 2 runs as well. So just an all around, he did everything, just everything. And he's getting on base at an .875 clip. Just ridiculous, you guys. Very small sample size. It's 3 games, but oh my God, that's amazing. Coming up, last takeaway of this one was Cristian Pache. Cristian Pache entered the game 0 for 5. No walks, no strikeouts, no nothing. This game, he went 2 for 2 with a walk. He got that walk. Mark Kotze said, go out there and walk some more, Cristian. He's like, got it, Skip. He's walking at like a 20% clip right now. He's got 1 in 8 at-bats. I don't know what that works out to, but it's more than 10%, so it's like 17. Let's call it 17%. He had an RBI triple in this one. He had a single in this one. Maybe the triple was an RBI. It doesn't matter. He had a good game. He went 2 for 2 with a walk. He didn't strike out at all. So this spring, so far, small sample size, which is what they're basing his entire tenure on with the A's moving forward, is a small sample size. He's 2 for 7 right now, which is a .286 batting average. He has 1 walk, 0 Ks. He doesn't strike out anymore. And I'm intrigued to see what happens, because I've gone over this before. I've written about it at Inside the A's. I have put him on my roster. I want him on the A's. I said, have him just go face lefties. I don't care. Have him platoon with Seth Brown, and he can provide excellent defense and hit decently against lefties. I'm fine with that. I want to see if he can put it together with the A's, as opposed to being scooped up by a team that actually, does well in developing bats and having success over there. I don't want to give him away for nothing. And so Cristian Pache, hopefully this is the start of things to come, but it looked like he got that walk, I believe, in his first plate appearance. And so that seemed to be what opened him up for the rest of the game, and he had a good game. Granted, it was against the Reds, so we'll see how he does against other teams. But I'm excited about Cristian Pache. Still, Lawrence Butler is just amazing, and Adrian Martinez, he worked on not falling off to the first base side in his delivery. He had a good first start with the A's in spring training. I want to see more from him and see what's going on here, because the A's got some arms that I'm excited about this year. Are they all going to be good? Probably not, but they got a lot of them. So a few of them might be really good, and then we'll see where the A's stand at the end of 2023. I'm excited. As you know, I'm excited. People let me know in the comments that it's nice that there's somebody who still likes A's baseball and is still optimistic about the game. This team, they've done stuff. Whether or not everybody's seen it, they've done stuff to make them a better team. They're going to be at least a more watchable product in 2023. They might not win the World Series, but they're going to be a lot better. And I'm going to have a lot of fun watching them. And I think that they're going to be worth a time investment this season. And that's really all you ask for from a baseball team. Obviously, you want them to win the World Series, do really good and, brag to your friends about them. But I just want to have fun 3 hours a day. That's all. Or 2.5 hours once this pitch clock starts. The A's have not had a 2.5 hour game yet. I don't know what they're doing wrong, but the pitch clock doesn't work for them. Anyways, coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about Kirby Snead potentially being out for opening day and how the A's could go about filling that roster spot. So stay locked in, you guys. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's. Follow Inside the A's at Inside the A's so you never miss an article. It's just much easier than typing in the full URL si.com/MLB/athletics. But today we're talking about Kirby Snead and his left shoulder strain. This is coming from the Chronicle. They said that Kirby Snead has a left shoulder strain, and he has been shut down until he is asymptomatic. That's from Matt Kawahara over at the Chronicle. And for me, I don't know that he's going to be ready to open. They have not given us a timeline. Let's be clear. They have not given a timeline for his recovery. But if he misses 2 weeks in spring training, I think that's enough to not have him ready to go for opening day. And you put that with his 2022 season, he was 1-1 with a 5.84 ERA and a 1.75 WHIP. I think that between his stats last season and not being able to show the coaches and maybe not even build up his arm enough to be ready for opening day, I think that's enough to maybe have them pump the brakes a little bit on having him join the team in Oakland immediately for opening day, and giving somebody else a shot. So obviously they don't have a lot of room on the 40-man roster, so there's gonna have to be something that goes on there. Maybe it's a quick thing, and they gotta put him on the IL, and then they can move somebody in to the roster. There's a lot that goes on here, but we're just going quick move in, move out kind of stuff. So depending on the length of time that he's going to be out, his opening day could be in doubt. That's the premise that we're working on here. And I put together these bullpen before, but off the top of my head, I believe it was Trevor May, Danny Jimenez, Zach Jackson, Kirby Snead was in there. He's not anymore. Sam Mole, Domingo Acevedo, Chad Smith, and I'm missing one. Oh, JP Sears was the other one. That is the A's bullpen according to who I think should be in there. And so with Mole and JP Sears, they don't necessarily need another lefty in the bullpen. They've got two already, and one of them is a swing guy who can give you a bunch of innings, and one of them can give you a full inning of work. And so I'm not sure what Snead's role would have been, but it might have been like mop up at least to start to get him some innings. So you can kind of just throw whoever you want in at that point. So it could be one of the A's plethora of starting pitchers that does not make the A's rotation. And it depends kind of on whether or not James Gaprillion makes or is ready to start the season if he's healthy at the start of the season. That puts a lot of that moves some pieces around, I would say, because if he's not healthy, then Kyle Muller and Ken Waldichuk probably in the starting rotation. If he is healthy, one of those two guys is probably on the outside looking in, and you could put one of those guys in the bullpen just to, keep them in the big leagues and getting them some exposure. But maybe you want to keep them stretched out too. So that's the other part of that. The other options here would be Adam Oller, Adrian Martinez, Freddie Tarnok, those three guys, plus whoever misses out between Muller and Waldachuk. Any of those four guys could end up being another long guy in the A's bullpen. But I think that if it was me, I would keep them stretched out, for all four of those guys, or three, depending on how many there are. I'd keep them down in AAA for now, keep them stretched out just in case there's another injury in the starting rotation so that you have them ready to go and they can give you innings when you need them to. So with that in mind, here we go. We got five guys that are traditional relievers. So we're going to talk about five traditional relievers, and they're all non-roster invitees. So something's going to have to happen to get them onto the 40-man roster to make them eligible to be on the opening day roster, but we'll go over that another day. Again, with Sam Moll and JP Sears on my projected roster, I think that it could be a righty or a lefty. So in this segment, we're going over the righties. First up, we've got Drew Steckenrider. Yeah, under the radar guy. He's thrown a couple of innings so far this spring. He's looked good. He's thrown 2 innings with 2 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. Nondescript. It's fine. He did a good job. He's been good. He led the Mariners in saves in 2021 with 14, and he had a 2 ERA and a 1.02 WHIP in 67 2/3 innings pitched. It's a good stat line. That's a very good stat line. He did not replicate those numbers in 2022, which is why he's on a minor league deal with the Oakland A's now. In 2022, he had a 5.65 ERA in 14 1/3 innings pitched. When he signed with the A's, I believe it was the Chronicle again, he was talking about how he didn't feel like the Mariners gave him enough of a chance to kind of work some things out. They wanted him to start throwing, I believe it was a slider, and he didn't feel comfortable with it. I believe that it was Elvis Andrus took his slider deep in one of those games when he was still with the A's, and he just didn't feel comfortable with it, and the Mariners were trying to have him do stuff that he didn't necessarily want to do himself, and so he wasn't having success, and then they sent him down, and then it kind of all fell apart. But now, in talking with A's coaches, he feels like he is on the same page. They have the same ideas for his plan moving forward in 2023. He feels more comfortable. So Drew Steckenrider makes a lot of sense. If he's feeling good and feeling comfortable and he's putting up a 2 ERA in the big leagues, obviously you want that guy in your bullpen. He could be good. Moving on, we got Austin Pruitt. He was with the A's last season. I believe they DFA'd him at some point to make room on the roster, and then he signed a minor league deal with the team again later. I think that's how it happened, but he was not with the team for a second, and now he's back on a minor league deal. That's all you really need to know. He had a 4.23 ERA, which is roughly league average last season, and a 1.03 WHIP in 55 1/3 innings pitched. He pitches to contact, and he throws strikes. That's his calling card. He's going to be a decent pitcher, not a great. He doesn't have like the upside, I don't think, as Drew Steckenrider or the next guy that's coming up, but he pitches to contact. He can get you quick innings. He can get you through some games, and so Austin Pruitt, very nice arm to have in the bullpen. I think he's an excellent depth option. I don't know that he's the guy that you want immediately. I think that you want him like, if there's an injury, like, Austin Pruitt, that's a great guy to have right there. This spring, he's gone 2 innings, given up 3 hits, 2 runs, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts. He's fine. He's doing fine. He's getting work in. But I think that the main thing, my main memory of Austin Pruitt last year was his spot start against the White Sox. He went 5 perfect innings against a red-hot Chicago White Sox, and that was a game that A.J. Puck came on to save in the 9th, and he blew it. The A's were leading 3-0, and they lost after Austin Pruitt, of reliever, threw 5 perfect innings, and that was weird. So Austin Pruitt, I think he's a good pitcher. I'm happy that he's back in the organization. We'll see him at some point. I don't know that it's going to be on opening day. And then we got 29-year-old Rico Garcia. He was an early off-season signing, minor league signing. And I think that when the A's sign somebody early in the offseason, that they're targeting guys. They see guys that are coming up and they're like, we want that guy and that guy and that guy. We think that we can do this, this, and this. And that speaks to me, I think. He's got some stuff. He's got some things that he might need to work on. But the A's seemingly, when they make a signing early on in the offseason, have a plan. And so I don't know what the plan is yet, but I'm intrigued. He has 24 big league innings over 3 years with 3 teams, so not a lot. He got 1/3 of those innings last year with the Baltimore Orioles. He had 8 innings pitched, a 4.50 ERA. He gave up 8 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. So the strikeout rate has not been good, but he does throw 96 miles per hour, but his strikeouts just have not translated to Major League Baseball just yet. In AAA last year, he had a 10.38 Ks per 9 or strikeouts per 9. That's more than 1 an inning. That is what you want to see. But in the big leagues, it was at 225. That is a lot lower and well below 1 an inning. So it's 1 every 4 innings. In this spring so far, he's gone 2 innings pitched, given up 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts. So the strikeout rate's there. He's not quite facing major league caliber, hitters yet. But if he can keep those numbers up and get some strikeouts at the big league level, I think that he would be good, but he's going to have a shot to do that. So we'll see how his spring goes, but he's my dark horse, I think. Rico Garcia, dark horse candidate to be in the A's bullpen on opening day. I got 2 lefties coming up for you guys here in just 1 second. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment down below and leave us a thumbs up. That definitely helps YouTube's algorithm find other A's fans like yourself. And we're just trying to make the podcast grow. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subs, and we are so close. I think we're at 888 right now. So close. So subscribe if you haven't already, or if you have, comment down below, give us a thumbs up, and then YouTube will do the rest. So thank you in advance. But let's talk about the lefties that could be available to the A's as additions to their bullpen if Kirby Snead is not ready for the opening day. Number 1, we got Jake Fishman, who I'm intrigued by. I wrote about him over at Inside the A's this offseason, and I compared him a little bit to Sam Moll. They got a similar repertoire. They have the same repertoire. Let's just say they have a fastball and a slider combo. That's what they got. Fishman does not throw nearly as hard as Sam Moll. His fastball is 88 miles an hour, where Sam Moll's is 93. So a little bit slower. And his slider is... That's 76 miles an hour. There we go. And Moll's is 82. So there's that. He's also set to join Team Israel coming up in the WBC. So you can watch him over there. Again, the A's do not have anybody on Team USA. Jake Fishman debuted with Miami last year. He had a 4.09 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP in 11 innings pitched. He also, this is a big thing, I think, he allowed 0 walks in those 11 innings. In his 11 debut innings, nothing gets to him. Ice in his veins. Love it. Love it. He has good command. He's had good command at every stop along the way in professional baseball. I think his highest is like 3.25 walks per 9, which is solid. That's good. I think that he could be a good... He might not be... He's kind of like Austin Pruitt-ish, but from the left side, where he's going to throw strikes. He's going to get pitched to contact. He's going to be good. He might not have that same upside. He might not have that same strikeout ability, but he's interesting. I'm intrigued by Jake Fishman. I mean, in the A's first spring training game, he came on in relief of JP Sears, threw 1 pitch, got out of a 2-on, 2-out situation, and that was it. That was his day. 1 pitch. He's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go hit the showers, guys. Good game. Slap hands. But he also, in total for spring, he has thrown 1 1/3 innings pitched, given up a hit, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Not 2 strikes, 2 strikeouts. So he's pitched well. I'm intrigued by Jake Fishman. If the A's need a lefty, he's probably your front runner. If they need a lefty specifically, if they need a righty, one of the other guys. But if they need a lefty, it's probably him. But there's also Garrett Williams, another 28-year-old lefty. He is the only pitcher of these 5 that has not made his big league debut yet, and that could be a detriment. But I mean, he's with the A's. He probably will at some point this year. They had so many debuts. Oh, man. Last year was fun. Last 2 seasons, he has been in the Cardinals organization, and he split time both seasons between AA and AAA. In 2021, his ERA was 3.32 in AA, and then 6.61 in... sorry. I wrote them weird in my graph. I don't know what I did there. So he had a 3.32 ERA in AA in 2021 and a 6.61 ERA in AAA in 2021. And then in 2022, he had a 3.94 ERA and a 6.85 ERA in AAA. So he was a little bit worse last year. And a lot of this is because his walk rate has not been good, especially at the AAA level. He had a 6.65 walks per 9. That is 6 walks per 9 innings. in 2022. That's not going to get it done. No, probably not even in the bullpen. He does get double-digit strikeout rates. He's been at least at 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got some swing and miss stuff, but it's going to be about having better command of the strike zone, I think, for Garrett Williams. And I think that for a guy like him, the A's will probably want to start him off in AAA. But hey, if he's blowing guys away during spring training, he might earn a shot. So he is definitely on the radar. I don't know that he's like at the top of the list, but he's there. He's on the list. And that's where you want to be if you are trying to make your big league debut, is on the list. Garrett Williams is there. So you got Steckenrider and Pruitt. They have the most experience. I would say Steckenrider is probably the favorite of these 5, just because of the season that he had in 2021, and that he doesn't like the Mariners, seemingly. So you want a guy that has bad blood with one of the teams in the division. Steckenrider's your guy. Austin Pruitt, solid guy. You know what you're going to get out of him, so he could be a solid option. My favorite, the favorite is Steckenrider, but I'm intrigued by both Rico Garcia and Jake Fishman. Those are my dark horses. I don't know why I like Rico Garcia so much, but I do, and I want to see him in Oakland at some point. I think that he was an A's fan growing up. If the post that I was tagged in months ago is true. Maybe he just played for the A's as a child, but, Little League. But he still had that picture. He still wanted to be with the A's, and now here he is. Maybe pitching for the A's. His 4th team, potentially, in 4 years. Rico Garcia, come on down. I want to see more out of all these guys. I like everybody. I want everybody to do well. They're all Hall of Famers. No, but seriously, out of those guys, it's probably Steckenrider is probably going to get the nod, but Jake Fishman or Rico Garcia, depending on how they do in spring. So it is an open competition. Nobody is guaranteed anything right now. That is an open competition, and we'll see who does what. But that is all that I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As you know, this is Locked On A's. We are also your team every day, and I'm having so much fun now that baseball is back. So if you want to have fun with us, subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast if you like that too. I'm good in your ears. And also, that sounded weird. I'm sorry. I'm also fun on Twitter, so check me out at ByJasonB on Twitter, or at Locked On A's, or at Inside the A's on Twitter. I run all 3 of those, and oh man, that's a lot of social media accounts. So that's it. That's all that I got for you guys today. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I will talk with you tomorrow.